Aviva and Legal General are two of the biggest players in the UK insurance industry. Both have very long histories, and we'll find out how long those histories are in a few seconds, but it's well over 100 years and they have great reputations within that industry as well. They've grown, evolved, and they are now not those small companies with a couple of people. They are multinational corporations. And in this video, I'm going to do a quick overview of their financials and see which one I would suggest investing into. Aviva, known by the ticker symbol of AV, has got a long track record in the insurance industry dating back to 1696. It has grown over those years and now has operations in over 16 countries and over 30 million worldwide customers. Aviva's key strengths are financial stability, customer-centric approach, and its innovation in some of its products and services. Formerly, it was known as CGNU, changed its name to Aviva in 2002. Looking back at Legal & General, its ticker symbol is LGEN, and once again, providing financial services over its 180 years of existence. It looks a little bit more at pensions, retirement planning, and on top of that, some other financial products that we're all well aware of: life insurance, investments, and general insurance. Legal & General, one of the market leaders in the UK, and it has a very strong presence focused more on Europe and the Americas. Financially, how do these companies stack up? Both companies have delivered mixed performance over the last few years. Aviva's market cap is about 10.6 billion in 2002, and its operating profit is up 35%, up to 2.213 billion. Looking at Legal & General, slightly larger, it's just over 13.3 billion for its market capitalization, and its operating profits were up 12% last year, and that's up to 2.5 billion. So not shabby on either account. Let's have a quick look at what that dividend yield is providing. On the Aviva side of things, we are looking at just about 8%, 8.03, and that is beaten by Legal & General, or pulling in about an 8.69% dividend yield. Payout ratios, AV's coming in a bit high for me at 91%, and Legal & General is almost bang on the marker that I look at 51%, and I like to see it in around 50% for the dividend payout ratio. But as I always say, these are above that 8% mark, so I have slight concerns about that, because you can't always rely on a dividend being paid out that is very high. So you do need to bear that in mind if you were thinking of going for one of these two companies. And if you have a think about what happened to both of these companies after the financial crash in 2008, they cut their dividends. So that just is a prime example. If something happens to the market, there is a risk that these two companies may end up cutting their dividends. Both are biannual, so they pay twice a year with an interim and a final payment. AV pays in the May and September, and then you're looking at Legal & General paying in June and September. Let's have a quick look at the dividend growth and history of these two companies. Aviva has a 4-year dividend growth streak, and it's looking at having a dividend growth rate, so that 5-year dividend growth rate of about 2.5%, which is significantly behind Legal & General, who have had about 14 years of growing their dividends and sat at a 5-year dividend growth rate of approximately 4.76%. Aviva is a bit choppy on their dividends, so sometimes they are going up and then they drop and drop and drop and then come back up again. Quite unstable in that payment of their dividend. Let's have a quick look and see how they have been performing. Let's first of all have a look at the 1-year chart and see what has been going on. And when we have a quick look at this, Aviva has done slightly better in the last year. And then if we go out to that 5-year time period, absolute winner, Legal & General, hands down, coming in with, it is still down 16 and a bit %, but that's much better than Aviva has done. This gives us our compound annual growth rate, and you have Legal & General coming in at minus 3.25, whereas Aviva is coming in at well over twice that at 8.36% for their 5-year CAGR. A few final metrics that we'll look at: debt to equity, and then we'll have a quick look at whether these are undervalued or overvalued stocks. Aviva comes in as the winner on the debt to equity. They're looking at about 55% on the debt to equity, and Legal & General has a whopping 600 and almost 20%. So they have obviously not produced great income last year, and that has thrown off that figure slightly. In previous years it has been much better than that. Both companies coming in at an undervalue using the simply Wall Street metrics, and that looks at AV being 53.7% undervalued, but Legal & General potentially offering a little bit better value, coming in at 65.8%. Both companies also looking at having an increase in earnings growth next year, but Aviva, coming from that slightly worse position, is looking at about a 44% increase in their growth earnings next year, whereas Legal & General still in the positive, but only coming in at about 5%. So what are the risks? We've heard about how well some of these are doing, but there are some risks, particularly within this industry. The main one is that exposure to the global economy, and if we think back to what happened after the crash in 2008, dividends were cut right back. So the exposure to the fluctuations in global markets can have significant financial performance implications. Legal & General has a slightly different take on this. They are exposed slightly more to the UK market. If the UK economy performs particularly badly, you might find that this affects Legal & General slightly more than Aviva, and we saw that in around Brexit and potentially with the changes in the interest rates that we've seen recently, with Bank of England taking us up to 5%. That might have major effect on that. Because they are exposed to the insurance industry, if you've got new regulations coming in, competition from other insurers coming in with better products, and just changes in consumer behaviour, might see a shift. So it's all really important to take these into account when you're doing your own due diligence about the companies. And Legal & General have literally just announced the appointment of a new CEO, and that comes into effect on the 1st of January. So it's worthwhile doing a little bit of research into the new CEO. These two companies, they are offering 8% plus dividends, so there is an attraction there for income investors. It may be that they are okay. I do hold both of these companies. I hold more of Legal & General than I do of Aviva, and looking to potentially build out positions in probably Legal & General based on some of the research that I've done here. But go away, do your own due diligence and research into these companies, and why don't you have a quick look at this video that talks about other companies that you potentially might want to pick up who are paying an 8% dividend as well. Thanks very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.